Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another edition of Forza Monthly. This is our monthly show where we talk about all the news, all the great stuff happening in the world of Forza, and we're back for August with a absolutely huge show. I'm so pleased to be just joined by all the guests we have today. We have so much stuff to get to. Before we dive into Forza Monthly, let me introduce who we've got on the couch. First here, we've got Gabe Garcia, Vehicle Art Director with Turn 10. What's up, Gabe?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. It's great to have you here on the show for the first time.
Yeah, it's my live stream debut.
The live stream debut. Well, actually, I think you and I have talked probably on streams before, but first, Forza Monthly appearance.
This is live, man.
Live. This is so live. So very quickly, what do you do at Turn 10?
I am the Vehicle Art Director. I am in charge of sourcing all the cars, getting them, building them, getting them into all of our products. And so I'm responsible for the quality of what you see in the final game. So, you know, if there's something you don't like, I'm the neck to choke.
But that's across motorsport, that's across Horizon. So you're dealing with all the cars that appear in our games. That's pretty awesome.
Yes, sir.
Sounds like a great job.
Yeah, it's
That's
good.
a lot of cars.
That's a lot of cars.
Huh.
Yeah.
John Knowles, Design Director with Turn 10, but you work on Forza Horizon.
Yes, I've been Design Director at Turn 10 on the Horizon series since it began in 2012.
All the way back when it was in Colorado.
I know.
We've gone to the south of France.
I know, and Australia. And now Britain.
Yep. So
it's awesome.
We're going to show some very awesome Forza Horizon 4 updates for you guys today. Let's talk about what we're going to see today, because there's a ton. These aren't the only guests we'll have. We'll have some other folks from the Forza Motorsport 7 team as well. But let's talk about the kinds of things you're going to see today. We're going to talk about Forza Horizon 4. We're leading the show off there. Now, if you guys have been paying attention, you know we've got this Playground stream where they showed all the seasons. We're going to show you a recap of that. You're going to be able to take advantage of that. And then, of course, we've got Formula Drift cars. For the first time, now we saw 2 of these in July, but you're going to see the whole list.
Yeah, all 7 of them.
All 7 cars that are coming both to Forza Horizon 4 and to Forza Motorsport 7. Of course, Forza Horizon 2 is the Game with Gold game in August, so you can play that game. We're going to have more on Gamescom. It's free. You can play it now for free. What an amazing deal for Xbox Live Gold members. We have a car tour. Gabe and I, see this awesome S15 behind us. Gabe and I are going to take a tour of this car, show you around that amazing Formula Drift car that's right behind us. You're going to love that. We had a great time with that. And then we're going to get to Forza Motorsport 7 because the August update is just around the corner, and we have so much cool stuff to show you. It is an absolutely massive update. Myself, Aaron Brooks, Chris Asaki, we're going to dive deep into the August update. And that includes things like drift updates. We got track limits coming. We got all sorts of cool stuff. And finally, we're going to get you caught up with everything that's happening in the Forza Racing Championship. We are officially halfway through Series 2, so we're going to get you caught up with all of the great stuff happening there. So don't miss that. That's quite a show.
That's a lot.
That's quite a show.
a lot.
So first, we're going to, before we dive into Forza Horizon 4, we're going to get you caught up with all of the latest Seasons Change Everything goodness from the Playground streams that just ended last week. Let's get you caught up with that recap.
What's up, guys, and welcome to the Forza Horizon 4 live stream from Playground Games. I am joined by Ralph.
It felt like now is the time that we should start showing them more of this enormous game. Obviously, the seasons will change the driving experience, and you know, at its most extreme in winter, you're going to have ice, you're going to have snow. That's going to change up the way you tackle corners, the kind of cars you take into races.
There are 12 houses. There's like a huge variety. So when you start the game, we kind of give you one after the first hour or so. And then from there, you're free to go explore, discover them. Some of them are really well hidden.
We now have this view as standard on all of our cars. This is brand new.
Oh, this is...
Yeah, so this is something that we did for the E3 demo last time. So it's looked really great if you're using a wheel setter.
We're in the Highlands. We're in the north of the map, which we haven't really shown anyone yet, in an area of the world that's kind of bits of beautiful Scotland, right? We're going to show, by popular demand, the world map, so that's where we are, sort of northeast of the world.
We've started up at the top of the mountain, as we saw, and we're coming down into this beautiful valley. Big slow-mo jump there. Being the size of what it is and how hovercrafts move around, they do drift a lot, which is going to prove a bit of a challenge for a player.
you'll be able to join with up to 72 people on a server. You can still absolutely race against advertising races, but when you're in the open world, there's an emergent fun and a character that real people can bring that you just can't create with an AI.
The mud looks incredible.
So there's a system that analyses the whole world for different dips and divots and finds out where water would collect. This is inspired from a real-life off-road adventure park, and it's translated really well. It's definitely one of the most fun areas in the game, I think, to play those playground arena type game modes like Infected and King.
For me, it is the most visually different season.
It's the biggest visual change, as Ralph said, so that comes with a whole new set of challenges. And as you can see, this is the north of the map, so we've got some real heavy, dense snowfall going on here. The more elevation you get in the world, you'll get thicker snow. As you get a bit more south, you'll get like less snow, but maybe more frost, more wet roads, that kind of thing.
This is our new way to earn skills and then spend those skill points on cars. And we decided, let's add a skill tree to every car. So drifting, wreckage, air, then you bank all of those points. You then earn skill points to spend here. You now get daily challenges, so they're like bite-sized challenges that you can do. The weekly challenge is all about getting into like a particular kind of special car. Do all 4 and you get all of the Forza points. And just wait for the perfect item in here that you want to get.
Like our job is to mainly focus around like the presentation of the game. So we're looking at like menu systems. Our menus are a lot more flexible, which is great because it allows us to be a lot more creative.
Can you talk us a little bit more about the white space?
Yeah, it's been a lot of work. One of the things we really wanted to do this time is be able to control the lighting conditions. Some cool stuff to look at while we're waiting for everything to fall into place and load.
It started in the very first Horizon game. We've found the fun in it, we've found the different types of gameplay that can be involved in finding and smashing a bonus board, of which there are usually about 150 in the game.
Here we go, is he going to do it? No. There's too much of that. No, hold on.
Oh.
No, it's too short.
In order to...
Oh! There we go. Right, we got the first one.
Spring is the season we're going to be showing today. It's radically different visually from what we showed last week in winter.
It's very fresh visual, and I think that's the thing for me that really typifies spring in Britain, is that really fresh, crisp feel.
Block Party and Pulse are back. Timeless FM has come back as well. Hospital Records return for Horizon 4. And an old favourite that skipped a game actually, Horizon XS is back.
450 cars in the game. What's it like working on the audio?
It's a lot of work. As you can imagine, every game we kind of try and record as many cars as we possibly can. McLaren were a great partner to work with on this. You can see they actually provided us with a 720 and a 540 to go out on the airstrip in Dunsfold and get loads of pass-bys and record the onboard sound of this stuff.
Team Adventure is kind of a natural evolution of online adventure from Forza Horizon 3. So it's going to be a 6 versus 6.
Yep.
And the other thing is that it's restructured to really be a properly competitive game mode. Free Roam Rush is kind of an evolution of the Drive to Event phase that was in Forza Horizon 3. And the key difference is it's a team race, but it's a team race with no checkpoints. So you can take any route you like to get to the end. What survival is it puts one team becomes a zombie team and another team becomes the team of survivors. The goal of zombie teams is to hit all the survivors and infect them all at the same time as quickly as they possibly can.
And there's Edinburgh.
As you just lost
that's a pretty cool way to reveal Edinburgh. So that's the Scott Monument. So we're on Princes Street, which is the main thoroughfare in Edinburgh. The street, it's the main street in Edinburgh, and obviously it has many famous buildings on it, not least of which is obviously the castle.
I thought it was only fair to show everybody what night looks like. And we've got true shadow casting lights now from the car and the environment, which is a feature for the Xbox One X. We've also got all of that stuff rendering it into the car bodies and reflecting off all the materials in better ways than we've ever been able to before. So you'll see all those pings coming off the metalwork. And as you can see, Edinburgh itself is just a super cool place at night. So all the shop lights have turned on, all the street lights.
And that is Forza Horizon 4, and that is the end of looking at all the seasons. So we will see you soon. Bye.
Well, there's that recap of that series about all of the
Cool
seasons.
series, yeah.
Very cool series. I think that shot
Oh,
over Edinburgh
yeah,
is incredible.
epic reveal there.
Yeah, what a wonderful way to reveal Edinburgh. Favorite season, John? Have to ask.
I probably agree with Ralph. Winter for me is just, I just love it. It's so much fun to just tool around. And there's clear roads to rip around in supercars, and there's snowy bits and ice lake, all kinds of fun stuff.
All sorts of good stuff. So whatever season you've got, we got you covered in Forza Horizon 4. We've also got some awesome cars to reveal right now, John.
Lots of them, but we'll start with these 7.
That's right. We're going to start with these 7. This is the Formula Drift car pack. Now, you guys know about this pack. You know that it's a, if you pre-order the game, you get this pack. But what we haven't revealed is the entire car list yet, John.
Yep.
We've showed off 2 of the cars in earlier back in July.
And this is one of them.
This is one of them.
Justin Pollock's 2015 Mustang.
Before we get to the cars,
yeah.
where are we in the world?
This is your first house.
Okay.
Everybody gets this house. I think this is the first house you get in the game. It's called the Gables. It's a nice house out in the country.
Okay.
Yeah.
And remind people about houses very quickly. What are
player houses are, you can think of as almost like another functional hub, like the festival hub, where you can fast travel there, you can work on your cars there. And what's really cool is you can also do Forza Vista and car painting here. You can still do it in the festival if you want,
right.
but you can actually see what your decals and all your artwork looks like outside in natural lighting,
Nice.
which is a new thing.
All right, so people know about this car. This is the car, the Mustang, of course, driven by Justin Pollock. Tell us about this car.
Well, Gabe, you probably know more about this car than I do.
This car.
All right. Yeah, this is the Roush Racing. This is an actual 25 model year. This is Justin's car that he raced last year. But specs are all the same. You know, as you can see, there's lots of carbon fiber on this car. It's a supercharged V8, Ford V8. Obviously, it's Roush. You know, Roush built that engine. But as you can see, the detail that we got into this is outstanding. The level of access that we got to the car to pull things open and get in and take photos of, you know, all the little details, it's all reflected in what we delivered in the game. And I'm really excited and proud of what the team has done with the modeling and the delivery of this car. You can see the difference in, you know, the metallics in the livery. You can see the carbon fiber, the weave. You can see the matte colors and like the stars and whatnot. So, you know, this is the same level of detail that we delivered across all the FD cars, and it started with the access to these cars and how close we got to get
And
to
speaking
those.
of access, here's another one all the way from Australia.
The Maloo. Yeah, this is Josh Robinson's ride, and just to go on a little tangent here. You know, this Maloo, you know, FD has a strict no trucks rule to race, so
okay.
he had
It's
to
not a
get
truck.
he had to get special permission to use this because it's part truck, part car, right? So he had to get special permission to use this.
Oh, look at that.
The beautiful thing
Beast.
about this Maloo, as you can see, again, it's powered by a supercharged V8 motor. This thing is making over 1,000 horsepower, and you can just look at the detail that we put into the engine and the livery, and as you get into the
Well, you forgot to put a steering wheel in here.
Oh,
I think
wait a
that's a
minute.
bug.
Oh.
Forgot that.
Oh,
Yeah, no
wait
way
a
to
minute.
hold it.
It's from Australia.
Right-hand drive, baby.
Okay, it's a right-hand drive. It's from
Yeah.
Australia.
All right.
Yeah, so, again, the detail, when you get into the game, when you get this pack, you're going to love just checking out all the little details. Go in there, explore the engine, look at the back, because a lot of the sheet metal has been removed from this vehicle.
I'll go right back
So we're going to actually drive back to the house so we can check out a few more of the cars. We'll check out all the cars. But Gabe, when we think about that Ute as a truck, and technically it starts as a Ute, a utility vehicle in Australia, but it competes alongside the other traditional quote-unquote cars in Formula D. How do they get that? How do they get the Ute in a shape that it can compete with a Mustang, compete with a 240 and all of that?
Yeah, it's great because Formula D is it's relatively new. It's one of the younger sporting when you think of like Formula One or FIA, whatever. The rules are very lenient on what you can do to a car to make it competitive. There are very few rules that limit what you can do. The main one being the pickup points for the suspension. Outside of that, you can do just about anything.
Horsepower can vary from
700 all the way up to over 1,000 horsepower.
Wow.
And you have the same car. You have a 650, 700 horsepower car competing with a 1,000 horsepower
How much
car.
is in this Viper?
This Viper is over 1,000 horsepower. This Viper it's the stock V10 of the Dodge Viper V10, but it's twin turbocharged, so it's ridiculous. It's Plus, the engine is a work of art. You know, the way they have the turbos mounted on it.
Here, let's pop off the
Let's
pop
take
off
that
the bonnet
thing
and
off.
see what we got.
Oh, look at that.
So what you have here is, you know, flanking the engine right there is a massive turbos feeding that bad boy. That's
Wow.
why this guy's one of the more powerful cars in the series.
Wow.
You know, stock engine, you know, upgraded bits to handle, you know, the forced induction on this bad boy. But yeah, this is Dean Kearney's car, and you know,
And this is
again,
all
look at the detail.
It's all fuel in the back, right? I mean,
It's
those
all
big
fueled
fans.
in the back. If you
Yep.
look at this, those big fans are actually drawing air through the radiator. They mount the radiators on the rear of these cars because the front end gets a lot of action.
Sure.
So what I've learned was these cars can actually, after the drift, you know, after they do a run, the cars sit at idle while the judges put in their scores.
Okay.
And, you know, just about any other race car cannot sit there sitting still. You know,
It has to have
for
that
any
air
amount of
moving in
reason.
through
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
These cars are set up to handle that.
All right, let's
Well,
see what other
Let's
ones we
pause
got.
right here, John,
Yep.
real quick, so people can see the full list, because
Oh,
this is the
yeah, here
full
we go.
list here.
Yep.
So we've seen the Mustang, we've seen the Ute, we just were looking at the Viper. What do you think next, John?
Well, do you want to take a look at the Z? Or sorry,
Yeah.
not the Z. That's the it's another S15, isn't it?
Okay.
40, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it. This is Matt White's car. Another, it's
Matt
Formula
Field.
D. Matt Field. Matt
Yeah.
Field's car.
Definitely
Sorry,
got that
Matt.
Falcon, classic Falcon livery
Nice.
underneath
Livery. Yeah.
all the other sponsors.
You know, you'll see a lot of the same, you know, design cues, or should I say functional cues,
Uh-huh.
you know, rear-mounted radiator, big honking motor up front. You know, the unique one about this car is it's got a Vortex centrifugal supercharger mounted, not a twin screw or roots mounted.
Of course.
On the
I'm going to
intake
pretend I know
manifold.
what that means. That's good detail. More power. That's
Yes,
right.
that's what it is, baby.
Take a
Yeah.
look
So this
inside.
is an S15. If you look at this, you know,
Wait, is that a cooler? Is that
Is
where
it-
he keeps his Pepsi?
Yeah, that's
hey
just
man,
Coke.
you know, it's got to keep
keep
yourself
your
cool,
rock star.
man. Got to
whatever
keep the
there.
driver cool.
Okay.
You know, no, he doesn't have
The big
any time to be
handbrake, of
playing
course.
with
That's
that
a
stuff.
signature for these cars.
Oh, it is key to drifting.
Yep.
That and the, you know, the steering angle. And these guys, there's no time ever to relax during
all that
running
detail
this
back
thing.
there.
Yeah, so again, you can see
job.
what you see in the trunks is the fuel tank and the radiator.
Mm-hmm.
So what they'll run, you'll see the cooling lines running through the inside of the car, just big hoses just running back, you know, to the engine, to the radiator.
I want to see this BMW.
Yeah,
This is
325,
Andy
baby.
Haley's, right?
This is Andy Haley's. It's a
Oh, that
it's
is gorgeous.
325.
That's
but
actually kind of
it's
subtle
beautiful. I love the box
Subtle.
flares. Box
Wait,
flares
look at
are
that.
wonderful.
Look at that mean.
Yeah, that is pretty
stance
mean
on there.
looking.
Oh, but when you stand up, you know, you got to clearance that supercharger, right?
Yeah,
What's he got under the hood?
love the
Oh, it's
orange.
lovely.
It's worth
Hey,
pointing.
what is this? It's a V8 and it's supercharged.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
That's
so
sacrilege, isn't it? But that's
Not
part of
really
Formula
obvious.
Drift, right? You know, they
Yeah.
get a big engine, they
you got to
slap
make
it in the
that
car they
power,
want.
man. Got to make that smoke.
One of the things that's interesting is we were talking about this earlier, Gabe, but these cars, you know, you expect in performance race cars they have a single seat. Every car I've seen so far has had 2 seats in the front, and you said there's good reason for that.
Oh, yeah. Formula Drift is all about the fans. It is all about that engagement of the community. And anyone who's been to a Formula Drift event knows they set specific time aside to meet with the drivers,
Right.
and the drivers want to meet their fans.
That's
they
cool.
want to know what's that.
And give 'em
So
ride-alongs.
this is about giving people rides.
I love
yeah.
it.
Sweet. All right, we got time to look at another one.
Yeah, let's
before
look
we
at another one.
Go for a
So we've
spin.
got a couple. I noticed that I saw in chat people were asking. We've got a lot of 240s in this pack, but they're all slightly different.
Oh,
right? they're all tuned
very
differently, right?
different.
Very, very
Yeah.
different. They're different years. They're different. They're set up for the drivers.
Okay.
Right. It's very.
It's like putting on shoes.
It
right?
would be very difficult for one driver to get into another driver's car and do what they can in their own car. You know, they're very, very personal to the driver's tastes. So this here is Alec Honadale's Rain-X car. He's racing this one this year. And surprise, surprise, it's
What?
a supercharged V8. So
Nice.
these are big LS motors, you know, 6+ liters. Intercooled, a lot of cases they're intercooled, supercharged, making, you know, between 700 and 1,000 horsepower.
Wow.
Again, another rear-mounted radiator. But as you can see, as you get in there, you can see all the details that we were able to, you know, to shoot and model into the cars. You know, all the stickers and all the screws
Drift
and
raff.
the wires and, you know, everything. It's great, right down to his wooden shift knobs.
All of the
Sweet.
I like how all of the handbrake are slightly different as well. They got a different design, and they look or feel different. I love that.
Yeah, so beautiful car.
All right, and
The Rain X 240.
I think we've got one more car.
One more? Okay.
Is that right? Have we gotten?
No, I think we've got a couple more.
We got a couple more.
We've got the yellow 240. And
Yeah.
No, I think
That's
that's
it.
it.
So the
You're
last
right. I
one
think you're
right
right.
here.
All right,
All right.
let's check that one out. Maybe that'll be the one we drive.
This is Corey Hosford's car.
Okay.
Right?
Yes, it is Corey Hosford's car.
Just to tell everybody, Corey did come by the studio a few weeks ago to have fun driving his car around in the game, and yeah.
Now, this is a great car because, yes, it's another S15, but the body kit, this is a Rocket Bunny Boss kit, and as you can tell, it gives it that muscle car look from the front end. It's so cool. It looks like, a classic muscle car. Another unique feature of this guy is he's got the exterior mounted intercooler for his twin turbo setup. His turbos.
And the wastegates
the
through the hood.
actually vent through the hood.
To shoot flames, which he
flames.
said that's the whole reason he did that, so
That's
he could shoot flames from the hood.
Which makes this the car
Heck
we
yeah.
have to drive, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Should we take it for a spin?
Yeah, let's take
Let's
this
do
car
it.
for
All
a
right.
spin. We're going to, you've seen the cars in the pack. There's a lot of variety there, Gabe. There's so many cool examples of what Formula Drift is doing. And like you said, these cars are fit to their drivers, so there's a lot of variety there, which I really appreciate. We're going to take these for a spin, some of them for a spin, and go to a brand new section, John, that we haven't seen before.
Yeah, so I'm going to take us to the train yards where we're going to have some fun just ripping around in a nice area that's just a really cool place to have fun drifting.
If you've played Forza Horizon 4, you know we have these sort of playground areas where we can just go and...
Yeah, so if you see the map here, I'm going to scooch on up to this area near Edinburgh, and I'm going to park the car right here in this rail yard.
Express Railway.
And it's just a fun playground. And there's a few playgrounds like this. There's an airfield, which is kind of set up as a drift park, but I chose the airfield today because...
the railway. The
railway.
railway.
See, I'm confusing myself already. The railway, and here I'm just going to drive in a dash cam view here so you can see hopefully some wastegates shooting flames once we start drifting around here. But boom, there you go. Flames out the hood.
Love it.
So yeah, extreme steering angle. Watch out. Extreme steering angle on these cars. Look at, I'll just park here for you and you can see. Crank that all the way over there. Crank that one. What do you say that is, Gabe? Is that like 60 degrees? Yeah. Yeah, so these cars are really set up to drift. And that steering angle helps you, keep catching that drift when you've gone to an extreme angle.
Sure.
I mean, you could be 60 degrees and still straighten your car out.
Anyone who likes to drift their cars, once you get into these, you will know immediately that there's something different and special about it.
That's just what I was going to ask. How is this going to feel to a Forza player? Now, drifting is not new to Forza, of course. People have been drifting in Forza Motorsport and Forza Horizon. But when they come to Horizon 4 or they come to Forza Motorsport 7, we'll talk about that in just a bit. But how are these cars going to feel? What's different now that we have these options?
Right out the box, because they are Formula Drift, pro-level cars, they have the similar setup that the pros are using to do those incredibly smoky drift courses, and you'll be able to do the same. It's very flattering to the drift driver. It'll be very familiar for someone who drives a drift car.
Is it fair to say, like, I am not an expert drifter, that it's easier to initiate a drift? Is that easier to?
Man,
is that fair?
I'd love to be a drift driver,
Right.
and I try, but I'm not good.
Okay.
But I get into these cars, and you can immediately tell. I'm like, hey, I can drift. It's always been the car.
I
ever
should
since
be a pro.
Yeah.
Should I go
always
find a
back
drift
by my
zone?
equipment.
Yeah, I'll go find a drift zone and show you just how easy it is to rack up some incredible drifts. And I don't know, Corey had a lot of fun driving his own car in the game. I mean, he was like a little kid.
Well, looking at chat, I know we want to see a couple other cars. So let's check out the drift zone, and then maybe we'll try a different
Oh,
car.
geez,
at the
all
railway.
right. Which one should I be driving?
This
Because I
is
can
fine.
swap it while I'm in the car,
Let's
while I'm
stay
on
here.
the road.
Let's
All
stay
right.
with this guy.
All right.
But show off the drift zone, and then we'll go back to the railway in a different car. I
Okay.
think.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of a short drive up the road here.
So drift zones, if you don't know, this
It's
is where
hard to not drift.
yeah, that's right. And a car like this, you're always drifting.
Yeah.
But drift zones are special areas on the map, right, John?
Yep. Yeah, so first introduced, I think, in Horizon 2. I'm
think
trying to
you're right.
remember now.
Yep.
Drift zone is a place, between 2 points where you can just get a good drift going and hold it. Now, as many of you know who've played Horizon 2 and Horizon 3, we did have a problem with drift zones, and that was that traffic ruined your whole day. Well, the good news is Now while I'm in a drift zone, any car that's in the drift zone, except one of my friends who I've decided to convoy with, right, everyone will be ghosted. So if I end up encountering another traffic car in here, I'm not doing so well because I'm talking and
I
driving
know
at
what
the
that's
same
like,
time.
yeah.
Sorry, but yeah, there you go.
We're gonna have to trademark that for Forza Monthly. I'm talking.
I'm talking while driving. Well, Johnny Wanna can do it very well.
He has a lot of.
He's got a lot of practice in that. Now, if I actually, so here I go. If I can get enough speed, so these guys are ghosted, so they're not going to ruin my day if I drift through them. But as soon as I get out of the drift zone, collision's back on again.
Oh, that's
sorry.
It's like you scripted it.
Yes,
it's amazing.
It was perfect. Perfect way to demo that. All right, should we fire up another car?
Yeah, let's go. Let's actually, why don't you go this way through the drift zone?
Okay.
Show it one more time in case we can get some oncoming traffic.
All right, let's
and
get
then we'll
some,
go back to the rail yard
let's
and
get
try a different car.
some more flames through the hood motion. That's just so cool when that happens.
Yeah, that looks awesome. So this is like a direct reaction to people saying, "Hey, I just got a great drift, score, but it was ruined at the very end because I hit a car."
There's no more fish that got away.
Right.
Sorry. Like, when you're in here now, you got no excuses except your own skill. So.
Right.
Yeah. And you can. I mean, these are so easy to just completely, rack up a massive drift score.
What I love is that these kinds of cars are going to make me look like a real drifter.
Failed.
But someone who is a real drifter, they're going to make these things look like works of art.
I've seen these cars in the hands of a Forza drifter, and it is incredible. It is beautiful.
All right, which one am I drifting next? Do we have anybody?
Yeah, let's see. We've got the list here, guys. If you want to see one of these particular cars hooning around, let us know in the chat, and we will do our best to accommodate you.
In the meantime, this BMW.
Okay, we'll do the BMW. But let us know in the chat. We'll try to keep an eye on that and show you the car you want to see next. Right now, we're going to be in the BMW.
I think Playground mentioned this in their stream as well, but car delivery is free now. So anywhere you are in the world, if you got the wrong car for the job, you just say, I want my car delivered to me, and we don't charge you any in-game credits or anything like that. So you can do that to your heart's delight.
Good news is a lot of people are saying the BMW. So we got you, man. We got you. You want to see the BMW, you got it.
Yeah. Let's get some cockpit.
Viper's next. A lot of votes for the Viper, so maybe we do the Viper next. I think we're going to do a little competition, too, at some point before this segment is over.
Oh, should we? Okay. Can't just be me all the time.
No, we're going to do a drift zone competition so you can get the best score.
See, right through that ghosted Mini. Not a problem.
Not a problem. And then as soon as you come out of it, it's back to normal.
Ding, ding, ding.
Love it. That is so cool.
All right. You want to take it for a spin? Should we get another car?
Yeah, let's show the Viper. People wanted to see the Viper. So let's check out the Viper.
All right. Let me get off the road here just in case they get...
Super Shocker says we're terrible at drifting.
Oh, come on, man. I'm on a stream here.
Cool. Right. We're talking and playing at the
Actually,
same time.
it's a good point, though. Not everybody is born to drift, right? I am not the world's greatest
I'll put my hand up for that one.
Yeah.
Everyone put your hand up.
That's right.
And these cars are... they're hard to handle a little bit, to be quite honest. You're going to have to, it's going to take some practice to really dial it in.
Try to drive one of these straight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, just try to drive a regular Viper straight.
I'm going the wrong way here, sorry. I meant to be going back the way we came.
So what part of the world are we here?
This is kind of the southwest corner of Edinburgh, I think. So we're just kind of not really in the city. We're just on the outskirts of the city. But it chose this drift zone because it's kind of long and pretty epic. Even though, as who was it who pointed out, I'm not the world's greatest drifter. See, there's a Drivatar drifting through here too, but luckily not screwing up my score.
But he's also ghosted, so that's perfect.
And that says, that's Ralph Fulton's development Drivatar.
Oh, Fat Teen.
Yeah, it's a development Drivatar, so it's kind of like, a little bit. So that was a weak score.
Okay.
All right.
But you got 2 stars out of it.
Yeah, but I'd have to get 102,000 to
I'm
get
just
3
trying
stars.
to make you feel good, dude.
Which, by the way, was my earlier previous one. So
people are giving you tips. They're saying second gear or third gear all the way. Come on.
Second or third with this Viper?
Second or third.
All right. Let's do third gear the whole way. All right. Nope. I'm off the skids.
Would it be possible for my production guys if we get a little sound here? It would be awesome so we could hear the cars.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah.
I can't hear my car,
Can't hear the
so
cars
I can't
here,
hear the
so.
wheels.
The only excuse is your skill, John.
Yeah. The only sound is the whole time, right? All right, here we go. All right. Well, that didn't suck terribly.
That wasn't bad. That wasn't bad.
All right, you want to give it a go?
I'll give it a go.
Okay, try not to press down on the left stick.
I'll do my best.
Debug.
I panic during moments like this, so handbrake is on the...
Oh, I have it on manual shifting, so you want to be going up, B up,
Fine.
right? Yeah.
Where's handbrake?
Handbrake is where it normally is, like A.
Okay, got it.
By default.
Oh, this feels way different.
There you go.
Oh man.
See, it drifts by itself.
Gabe, you give this thing gas, it starts drifting immediately.
It's
As
I can't drive it
advertised.
straight.
As advertised.
Yeah. I'm not doing the angle really well, but
It's all right. Remember, you don't have to worry about the traffic.
yep, that's right. That is a big help.
So now is anybody going to be saying, wait, I liked dodging cars while drifting. Please let me turn collision on in drift zones.
Oh,
Yeah, no.
I want to go for another go.
All right.
We'll do our competition later, but this is practice runs right here.
Spin around and do it.
Okay. Back down into first. I like that second gear only, though.
Yeah, no, it holds.
That feels pretty good.
It kind of keeps your speed down, too. So
Yeah.
you can't really get a ripping distance drift in, but it's certainly easier to manage.
I keep hitting the LB button
Yeah.
for
An e-brake.
emergency brake.
And Justin Pollock was telling us he never uses the brakes. Like, he just, it's e-brake or gas.
that
On,
right?
gas off, yeah.
There we go. Thank you. We can hear the engine now. That's perfect. Thank you, guys.
Sweet.
Well, that's not that good.
No, not compared to my earlier.
No, definitely not.
But I bet, you know,
I'll give
a
one
couple
more, and
times
then we'll
through
give it to Gabe.
Couple times through it.
We'll do our official competition here in just a bit.
Brian and I are very competitive.
Yes, we are.
That's always fun. I like me and Trite, too.
Yeah, we are competitive, and especially in Forza 7.
Oh, clutch kick. Oh, they want you to get real fancy now. No, we're just manual sequential right now.
Yeah, we're only manual. Oh, Lord. I meant to do that. I meant to show you guys the trees that are updated for Forza Horizon 4. They talked about that on the springtime stream last week, how they're trying to improve the visual language of trees, which I love that phrase.
Oh, yeah.
To
No,
show you
I'm-
which ones you can go through and which ones you can't. All right,
Yeah.
Gabe, your turn, dude.
Sweet.
Man.
2 stars. I got to get
Don't
76,000.
press down on the left stick,
Yeah,
or you're going to be launching into your favorite debug camp.
That's what I was
Left
worried
stick?
about.
Don't press down on the left stick.
Well,
There you go.
he's
gonna hit for a drive.
You got to turn around.
I make the cars pretty.
Gabe's job is to make them look cool.
Oh, this is going to be a good
Yeah.
competition
Well,
then. I feel like I got second wrapped
No,
up.
I'm third place, man. Yeah, I'm fourth place. Look at this, man.
It's all right.
I'm totally like Jerry Lewis in here on live, man. I can't even keep this thing straight.
Yeah, this is one of the. It's got to be one of the more extreme models.
It is.
Packed.
It's
It's
insane,
a Viper.
Oh,
Oh man.
yeah, that
Dude.
you're banging
Dude.
it up.
Yeah.
Totally embarrassing me.
Nah,
No,
nah,
it's
nah.
okay.
Dude, no, I'm embarrassing myself. That's all right, man, because I ain't no drifter. I ain't trying to
But the car looks
front
awesome.
like I'm
It
some
does
kind
look
of
awesome.
drifter.
That means your job is evident for everyone to see.
Yeah, sing
There you
my
go.
thing, man. I've been drifting for about 3 minutes now.
Oh, we need to go back to Mario Brothers. Okay. All right.
All right. That's pretty good.
He's
That's
getting
pretty
there.
good.
He's
No, I
getting there.
think
He'll
you
get
beat me.
50, 60. There you go.
Well
Boom.
done.
Sweet.
Should we show a different car? Let's get a different car.
All right.
Try something else.
All right. Who haven't we drifted yet? How are we doing for time? I
Oh,
know
we
that
got
you
time. We got plenty
Forza
of time.
7 has so much stuff
They're
to
in
talk
my
about.
ear. They'll tell me when
All right.
when they're good to go.
All right. What are we doing?
Well, let's see. We've done the Viper.
What's your favorite, Gabe, that we haven't
yeah.
drifted out here? Well, we haven't drifted the Mustang
Yeah.
out here yet.
Mustang,
Show what happens, man.
We are
Mustang.
still showing off the Formula Drift car pack for Forza Horizon 4. This pack is also coming to Forza Motorsport 7 later this fall. If you
I hear it's free.
that's
for
right.
some people.
It is free. You can pre-order Forza Horizon 4. We still have yet to get to Forza Motorsport 7. So if you're curious about the update for Forza Motorsport 7, trust us, that's on its way. We're taking some time with the Forza Horizon 4, the Formula Drift cars here.
Oh, I like
because
this Mustang. It drifts itself.
Look at the
Is
detail.
that how it goes? It drifts
It
itself.
drifts itself. I'm just suggesting.
People are freaking out over this exhaust.
Well, is it? I can't really hear it, but I
Ford.
imagine it's nice and loud in Mustang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. I like this car.
Yeah, feels good.
Yeah. Now, I know it's not his current Falcon livery, but you know these cars are a snapshot in time, right? Right, Gabe?
That's it. That's
When did we source this car?
Last year.
Last year. That's right. Sure. He's got a 2018 Mustang now, or does he? Or is it still the same car?
Roush puts their own front and rear bumpers on their cars, so
It's cool. It's got a neat look.
Not as recognizable.
Got no instruments. I guess he didn't need them.
Here you go.
Here
Oh,
in,
skill point earned.
Yes.
Well done.
All right.
All right, let me try this one. I want to try this one.
All right. Sorry, it's so sweaty and stuff.
Clammy. It's all of our
You're in
sweat at
fourth
this
gear.
point.
Just keep
Okay.
it in third. You'll have a good time.
Okay.
Or, yeah.
Oh, perfect. I love that little moment when it zips through into ghost mode.
Yeah, it's like the things that used to make you go, oh!
Yeah, exactly.
Now it's just like, yeah, I don't care.
I want to link this entire thing if I can. Might get a lot of points, but
Oh, you get some drift taps. Just don't hit anything solid.
oh, like
Wino Ken Block car. Well, last I checked, Ken Block was not an active Formula Drift driver. This is a Formula Drift car pack.
hey, that's better. 48 grand.
All right.
Cool. Okay. Well, thank you, John. That
Yeah,
was
no,
awesome.
it's,
These cars
I
look
love
amazing.
showing off this game. It shows off so well.
I'm going to give you the controller.
All right.
I just want to remind you guys that we talked about at the top of the show while John continues to drive around in the Mustang. Forza Horizon 2 is currently available as a Games with Gold game. If you are an
For
Xbox
free.
Live Gold member,
Yeah.
you can download and play Forza Horizon 2 for free. I bet you have fond memories of that game.
I loved it. I mean,
Yeah.
we all loved it, you know.
The south of France.
Oh, yeah.
What a
yeah.
gorgeous
I mean,
setting.
sometimes it's hard because, you know, we made a couple of, you know, Horizon 3 since then, and now
Yeah.
Horizon 4. You see all the things that we wished we could have done in
That's right.
Horizon 2, but it's really cool to go back and cruise the Côte d'Azur.
And that is a game that has, in my opinion, one of the greatest opening moments. When
Oh,
you're
yeah,
into
that's the one we did
car.
that video, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love
yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's pretty
So
slick.
please, if you haven't tried Forza Horizon 2, you have no excuse. The game is free as part of Xbox Live Games with Gold. And John, we've got a lot more Forza Horizon 4 news to come.
Yes, we do.
Gamescom is right around the corner.
Gamescom is right around the corner. Playground will be there, and they'll have some really great stuff to show and talk about.
Yeah, so look forward to that. Gamescom is just around the corner. We've got more coming on Forza Horizon 4. And if you're curious about the Formula Drift car pack, do not miss the world premiere of the Formula D trailer. It's going to be premiering this Friday on the Formula D stream. The Formula Drift stream will have
It's
the
a cool trailer. I've seen a sneak peek.
Yeah, it's
pretty
awesome. So Friday, August 10th, you don't want to miss that. It's going to be a fantastic debut of that trailer on the Formula D stream. We will have more information about where you can go to find that, probably in the week in review this week, so don't miss that. So that's Forza Horizon 4. Still to come, we have an in-depth look at the Forza Motorsport 7 August update. We're going to get you caught up with everything that's happening in the Forza RC. As I mentioned, we're halfway through Series 2, so still more to come for that. But right now, Gabe and I are going to take a look at this amazing Formula Drift car that we have right here in studio. Check it out. Well, it wouldn't be an episode of Forza Monthly without an incredible guest car here in the studio. We got Gabe here. Gabe, what are we looking at here?
Well, Brian, what we're looking at here is this is an S15. This is a Formula Drift car. This competes with, you know, everything that you would see on the wet live streams and TV, right? This here started as a car from Japan,
right?
Imported, right? Sylvia.
And it's seen some action apparently.
This is a beautiful thing of Formula Drift here, right? Because the whole art of Formula Drift is getting as close as you can to the competitor's car.
Sure.
Of course, without touching. But, you know, at times there is contact. And part of the skill, you know, the art of Formula Drift is being able to patch your car up between rounds, right? And getting your car back on the road.
And so if you look closely, they're using zip ties here, right?
Yes, sir. And it's a very common thing. You'll see it on cars all over the place. And zip ties are easy to remove, easy to add back, you know.
And they just punch holes in the body there,
Heck yeah,
right?
just
So
drill
what is
holes,
this body
all
made of?
This is all this body here it's a, you know, the sheet metal platform.
Yep.
But the rest of it is covered in fiberglass.
Okay.
The hood, the fenders, the bumpers, the quarter panels. It's all carbon. It's not carbon fiber.
Well, but they do that because it's light. And it's easy to repair, right?
It's very easy to work with.
Okay.
Because what you get is you can take this bumper and make it over and over again.
Right.
And in this case, this is a homespun shop.
Right.
So they build their own bumpers, so they bring extras to the races.
So we should talk about the owner and the driver. Who drives this car?
So the driver of this car is Dalton Gerhardt, and he's a Pro 2 driver, just got his license, right?
Okay.
And
sort of an up-and-comer on the scene?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Last year, he came out to Evergreen, impressed everyone. He was like, you read the articles, he was noted as, hey, there's a new face here, and he kind of stood out among the drivers. So
nice.
This is a completely home-built car. This is just got his sponsorship, but at the time he got a sponsorship, the car was complete. He took the completely stock car, put about 2,000 man-hours into this car, converting it into a Formula Drift car. And the conversion to a Formula Drift car, because the rules are pretty lenient on like what you can do, there are very few rules, right? And they all really focus around the pickup points for the suspension. While you can't change those, you can change just about anything else on the car. And that's why they spent so many hours converting this car. There's nothing stock on this car really, except for the glass and the lights. That's it. That's about it. And so part of the fortification of this is going in and stiffening up the chassis, right? Going into everywhere from the factory where they do pinch welds. They go in and they put beads, or they'll fortify it with more, just a whole stream of welds across the chassis to stiffen it up and make it stronger. Going in and changing parts of the car, reinforcing areas like the rear bumper and the front bumper areas where, when you're drifting, when you're the chase car, that contact, there's a risk for contact. And what you want to do is you want to protect the parts that make the car work.
Right.
That's why you're fortifying the front and rear ends of the car with, tubular braces and whatnot. Then you put the stock, fiberglass parts over the top of it, more glass here.
Yep.
So that when you hit your, when you come into contact with the wall or whatever, you can rapidly replace that stuff.
We were talking about this earlier, and I mentioned I was surprised in a performance car like that to see 2 seats in it. Usually race cars have a single seat. You're saying there's a good reason for that second seat.
Oh yeah, Formula Drift is all about the grassroots. It's all about the fans and getting fans involved and being close to the fans. All the Formula Drift events, they have a driver meet and greet and a signing, and so you can always get up close and personal with the drivers, and they're always about reaching out to the fans and whatnot.
Giving them ride-alongs.
So the second seat there, it's very common to see ride-alongs in Formula Drift cars. Anytime they go to a park or something, you'll see people sitting in the passenger seat, they'll have their phone out there. It's all about social media. It's all about getting in with the fans. And so Formula Drift is all about that. And that's why it feels so, just close family type, because it's not like, Formula One or,
They trade a little weight for that goodwill with the community.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we can't talk about a Formula Drift car without talking about the steering wheel, the handbrake. Tell us about the interior of this car. What's the driver, what kind of controls does the driver have?
The Formula Drift, unlike any other paved racing, it's about keeping it sideways, right? It's all about that angle. And so the main controls that the driver has, aside from the standard, gas, brake, clutch, shifter, steering wheel, is that gigantic handle right there in the middle, which is the e-brake. And the e-brake is, what that will do is it'll lock up your rear tires and pitch the car out into an angle. And the driver spends as much time on that handle as he does on the steering wheel or the shifter, because it's all about controlling that angle. And to watch a Formula Drift driver, do a run in one of these cars, it's like a ballet. It is unbelievable. It is quite an art, because they're working 3 pedals, 2 handles, and a steering wheel.
This is a dance.
It's so amazing. It's so cool to watch, because they're always moving. There is no cruise control. There is no, relaxing in the cockpit when you're doing Formula Drift.
And of course these cars are, you mentioned it, this car, very little on this car is stock. The driver has taken this and made it his own. What's interesting about Formula Drift, I've learned talking to you and talking to Aaron Brooks, is that they definitely design and tune these cars
for their own personal driving experience and their ability and style, right?
Yeah, it's every car is specifically designed and built around the driver for the driver's preferences. You know, so every car is very personal choice for the driver. You know, as a competition and a ballet dance dad myself, you know, the car is like a ballet shoe. You know, you fit it specifically for the driver, and you know, just like you know, the manufacturers have many different shoes for many different dancers, many different cars for many different drivers.
You want to open the hood?
Yeah.
Let's open the hood.
Do this.
Because this does not have, the last thing about this, this is not a stock engine, right? This is totally tuned, brand new.
Yes. So another really fun part about Formula Drift and what they do with their cars is, I grew up as a car nut, as a car fiend, and I've modified my cars, you know, all my life. And another beauty about Formula Drift, because the rules are so open, you can do just about anything to the car. And part of that is this car culture of going in and making your car very personal to you. And looking at this car, as you can tell, you know, this Silvia no longer has a stock motor in it. The Silvia has a big honking LS, you know, Chevy LS motor, big old V8, naturally aspirated. This thing's making about 400 horsepower. And
which is kind of low on the Formula Drift side, isn't it?
It is. Formula Drift cars, they go from, you know, stock horsepower numbers, but they'll go up to over 1,000 horsepower.
Yeah.
So the pro drivers, you'll see, you know, the top tier of the sport, those cars are all making 1,000 horsepower or more.
And again, that comes down to preference and driving style?
Yeah.
Budget, of course?
Yeah. But the horsepower does give you somewhat of an advantage if you're set up right, because the whole strategy of Formula Drift is opening up that gap between the lead and the you know, the chase driver.
Right.
So the more horsepower you have, the more you can open up that grip, or the more you can, you know, the easier it is for you to close that gap.
Yeah.
So in this case, if you look in this, you know, in this engine bay, there's a lot going on here. It's really, really cool, because this shows, like, this is the extreme of car modification. So if you start with, we talked about fortifying the chassis, right? If you look here, these here are pinch welds. That's what the factory does. But every one of these little beads was added to just make it a little stiffer. Better for drifting, better for control, better for handling. And as you can see here, this is the tire here. You usually don't see the tire in the engine bay of a car. As you can see, the sheet metal has been completely cut away to make room, make clearance for the
steering
tire,
angle.
the steering angle. And there's this fortification right here where you're connecting the shock tower to the subframe there, right? And this is what I was talking about, where you want to fortify the front and rear ends of the car so that you're not hurting what makes the car run. So the other part of this is this, as you can see, this is a very weird angle for the tire. If you come around here, as we talked about before, all the parts of the engine bay that were cut out to make clearance for the tire, it's all about this steering angle. And the steering angle is about being able to get the car at a very steep angle, right? And hold that angle. The steering angle allows you to control it and keep it out there. You can see in that blue control arm there's a big cutout right there for the tire to allow it to hit those steering angles of 60 to 70 degrees. You can see here the battle scars on that tire. It's nice and worn, you know. It's all about shredding those tires.
Well, it is all about shredding those tires. That's why we love Formula Drift. Thank you so much, Gabe, for this tour of this amazing car. One of the cool things is you're going to be able to do a lot of the things that they do in the real world in Formula Drift now in Forza Motorsport 7. Our next segment, we're going to take a look at the August update for Forza Motorsport 7, where you can do all this cool drift stuff and more.
And welcome back. We go from drifting in Forza Horizon 4 with the Formula Drift car pack to showing off an awesome Formula D car to drifting in Forza Motorsport 7. It is so awesome to be back, and we're so happy to be talking about Forza Motorsport 7 now. And I'm joined, before we get into all that goodies, we've still got Gabe here. I want to say hello to Aaron Brooks. Aaron, how are you?
All right, I'm good.
It's great to have you here. Now tell us what you do for Turn 10.
I am the physics designer, so I'm kind of the car guy.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of the big overview. I do a lot of work with vehicle dynamics, the tires, setting up the chassis, making sure that everything in the game handles like you'd expect a car to handle, and making sure that each car has its own personality.
Fantastic. Well, obviously we have a lot to talk about with Aaron today because we have a lot of stuff that directly involves the kinds of work that he does on Forza Motorsport 7. Game director Chris Sasaki. Hey, Chris, you're back.
Yeah, third time's a charm.
I love it.
Good. I'm so happy to be here. To represent the team and all of the work. I've said this before to the team in the studio recently. Get the hype train going. This is the biggest update I think we've ever had with Forza Motorsport in the entirety of its franchise. And the team has just been cranking to get all these updates out, and it's just great to be here and represent all that work.
Well, we're going to dive deep into this update today, but we want to get some housekeeping things out of the way first. First thing, I know a lot of you are asking, when is this update coming? Wednesday, this coming Wednesday. So in just a couple of days, the update will be live. You guys will be playing. All of this stuff we're going to talk about today will be coming. So I know usually we come out on Tuesdays with our updates. In this case, for reasons that you'll see in just a bit, we have to wait until the Forza RC Rivals are done, all of those things. Get that out of the way. Those events close down. Then we can release the updates. So this coming Wednesday, the August update will be available. We'll all be playing it. It's going to be awesome. We got to start, though, with Drift because that's where we spent our time, and that's where you've been spending a lot of your focus, Aaron.
I've been spending a ton of energy on Drift. I've gotten better. But mostly just trying to make the Drift experience better for all of our players. We have a ton of drifters out there and not a whole lot of support for them, honestly. So the idea here was, let's give them some upgrades. Let's give them some changes to the way that the game works. Give them reasons to play. And I think the biggest one we can get into right now is we've added an upgrade.
So set us up. You're in a Nova here.
I'm in a Nova.
Okay.
I own a Nova.
Okay.
I got to be in a Nova.
Of course.
So I've built this car out kind of the way that you would in Forza 7 up until now. It's pretty much it's a really high horsepower, a little bit lowered, just a Nova. I'm going to take it drifting. But now, instead of just having to work really weird alignment settings and try and cheat the system to get more angle out of it, we go over here to the right, we have an angle kit.
Okay.
And so the angle kit gets you several things. The biggest one obviously being you get 60 degrees of steering angle. So if we jump into Tune Car here and go over to alignment,
there it is. That's only when you have this installed, right?
It's only when you have this part installed.
Okay.
It gets you all the same adjustments that you get out of the race parts, except you also get the angle slider that you can use for tuning. Now I'll get into why you need to tune that in a second. But first I want to say that it's more than just angle.
Okay.
So when you install this kit on the car, you also get special front suspension geometry. And the front suspension geometry is it's based on the research that we've done and the work that we've done with FD drivers. We've gotten a bunch of information from them about different alignment settings that they use and different geometries that they use. We've taken all of that information and built it into a custom front suspension that basically works like an FD car would work. It doesn't have a lot of kingpin inclination. You don't have to run a whole ton of caster. It's got a bit of camber built into it. And so when you're at full lock and steering, you have a more straight up and down tire. You have a better contact patch. And that's the way that the FD cars are set up. They have some really unusual things going on in the front suspension to try and make it so that at 50, 60 degrees of angle, everything works and the tire is more or less flat. We've also done some work with Ackerman. Ackerman is the angle of the wheels relative to each other so that the car can cut an arc. Now on a street car, you drive around a parking lot, if they were parallel, there'd be a lot of scrub.
Right.
And so they angle the inside tire in more. On a drift car, if you're going this way, now the tires are scrubbing again. And so you take the Ackerman out and put the wheels more or less parallel, and the car can flow much nicer.
Okay.
And so what we've done here is we've taken a bunch of the Ackerman out as well. And basically it makes for a really nice drifting car. We've also added speed to the steering. So now the steering values are sped up.
It reacts quicker?
It reacts quicker.
Okay.
It reacts quicker to stick movements. It's going to react quicker to steering wheels. It's going to transition much faster. And so the slider actually will go between the way the car would be with the race suspension on it and the way the car is with the drift suspension on it. And as you slide between those 2 points, you get more of that quicker steering and more of the angle and less Ackerman. So this is adjustable essentially between what you would have had prior to the upgrade and what you have now. So if you find that the steering's a little bit too fast for you when you first install this upgrade, you can dial it back, and then you can work your way into it.
Okay.
So it's actually it's a really handy tool for being able to work your way up to it. But most of the time that we spent building this upgrade was about making this still feel like Forza.
Yeah, of course. That's always important. People are desperate to see this car get on the track.
All right, let's do that.
You to start drifting around. Where are we? Are we at Maple Valley, Aaron?
Yeah, we're at Maple Valley right now.
A classic drifting track.
Little did people know that they were going to have a Vehicle Dynamics 101 today.
That's right.
In the stream.
I feel smarter.
Like I said, I'm a car dork.
So, Aaron, it's an important point that you brought up there of like we have these new upgrades available to allow you to do these things in these cars, this extreme steering angle, but one of your focus is still making sure that this feels like Forza. What does that mean to you?
It means that the steering's smooth and it's controllable with a controller, and that you can actually it still feels like Forza. We've always had the Forza feel.
Yep.
And you go play any other racing game, and it can be twitchy, it can be touchy. It's about making sure that all that still works, and that the assists still work so that anybody can do this. I've heard a lot of people say that drifting is really difficult in the game, and while I will say that it's totally a skill, the truth is that auto steer can drift. If you just turn off the traction control and give it enough horsepower. So you see I got pretty good angle here. I could throw even more angle into it.
Wow.
And still be able to correct it.
So yeah, I think it's probably a good point to jump off here. There's a bunch of new stuff here that I don't think a lot of people have seen.
So yeah, this is kind of the next step. You notice I tapped the wall there.
Yep.
And didn't lose my score.
Didn't lose your score.
So we can jump right into scoring here. So if you look over there on the right, you see that we have the kind of the 3 metrics of scoring. Well, this is an entirely new system. We basically ripped out the old drift scoring and revamped the whole thing. So now instead of being able to go through this turn super slow and gain a giant score because I was going slow, we're looking at how far you're drifting and what you're doing while you're doing it. And over there on the right, those are my scoring metrics. You've got speed, which is obviously how fast you're going relative to how fast we think you should be going. Line is your proximity to the driving line. We use that because it was easy to understand as clipping points, because it runs apexes and it runs out. So it gives you a target kind of for style. And then angle is just kind of your basic angle. Now, the other thing to notice is that if you have a big entry, previously, if you had a huge angle entry, you'd probably lose your score. Like that right there, that would have been a score loss.
Yep.
Now you can go big angle, and you're not going to lose it.
Wow, I would have. Yeah, that's amazing. And Aaron, it's important to point out these numbers here on the right-hand side are based on a 10-point scale. It's not your actual degree, of angle.
It's not your actual degree of angle. There's a scaling system that is based on what we think your optimal could be. And based on that, we give you a score of 0 to 10, and then we look at how far you've traveled, and we basically multiply your score by how far you've gone.
Okay.
So that means that if you were magically capable of keeping all these values at 10, a given track would have a possible high score, which means that the leaderboards really do mean something, because the faster you can transition in direction for drift, like you see as I come here, watch my angle score is going to go to 0 as I transition. The quicker you can make your transitions, the higher your score will be. The more angle you can have, the higher your score will be. If you can maintain angle and speed and line, then you're going to get a great score. And so you're basically, score actually really does mean something now. And it's not really something that's easy to cheat. We also allow you to put 2 tires off and maintain your score. We're not going to drop that anymore. So if you have a big entry and you drop a couple tires, drop 1 tire there, or come over here and, well, there you go, I actually screwed up there. But we're not going to kill your score. If you drop 3 tires off, we are going to kill your score. Something else you may have noticed is, or that was started the conversation, you can tap walls now.
Yep.
Light brushes at the wall, those don't kill your score. If you have a big incident, we will. And the same thing goes for car-car contact. So if you're tandeming and you have a light nudge, we won't nerf your score for that either. It's actually,
that
wall.
might nerf it.
So yeah, scoring it's more forgiving, but it's very much more meaningful because we're actually looking at your angle, your speed, your line, and taking everything, all of the dance into account.
And speaking
This
of
is a nice
dance,
wall tap.
Yeah, wasn't sure if you guys already covered it, but you're actually continuing your chain through the straight.
Yep. Okay, so that's another thing to notice. Thank you for pointing that out, Chris. So we've taken out drift zones. You can manji down the straights now, and if you have the skill, you can actually link an entire track.
You could link the Nürburgring, is what you're telling me.
Yep, and I'm sure the first person to do that, it'll be on YouTube.
That's right, it'll be done.
Meet now.
Yeah, exactly. So, you can link the entire track. We are looking at your score per lap. So, basically linking, if you've linked, you've basically been drifting the entire time. We've tightened up the bank times. So if I stop drifting now, it banks pretty quick, but it's not so quick that if I transition, it'll bank and basically take away what I was getting. So there's some value to that.
Well, that looks amazing. We should point out that one other feature that we won't show here today, but you will mention, is that the open air field is now available in free play. So that's a bit you've only previously been able to get to in multiplayer. It is now available in free play, so you can go there and drift to your heart's content in the open playground that is the airfield. Right now, we're going to thank you very much for that, Aaron. Aaron's going to stick around for this for the rest of the show. But that's the drift updates. Right now, we're going to take a look at a special cinematic our awesome team at Turn 10 put together, describing all the cool features in the new drift update. The drift updates coming to Forza Motorsport 7 this Wednesday with the August update, but that's not all. We've still got a ton of stuff to go through. We're going to talk to Chris now about track limits in Forza Motorsport 7.
Oh, my goodness.
Finally, we can talk about this. This is great.
Yeah, we've been talking about it for months now.
Yeah.
And it feels like we are just perpetually teasing this out.
Right.
So finally, it's coming. Track limits are here. This Wednesday is when this all goes live. So you will all get new track limits, every ribbon, every track, painstakingly handcrafted by our designers to be consistent across every track. A visual language, a consistent language, and no qualms or questions about am I dirty? Am I dirty?
Yeah.
So just to be clear, this redefines clean and dirty laps 100% across every ribbon. We are doing a bunch of work to both visualize these things. We're iterating on this. Please give us all your feedback around this. This is actually one of our experimental additions to the product. This is now a permanent feature. We're going to be iterating on this forever to get better and better. We have different visualizations. Aaron right now is running around the track with, as you can kind of see, there's these little kind of triangle-looking things on the sides here. Those are the new track limits. That's one of the different visualizations. We have multiple different visualizations, a ribbon, and then these kind of dots.
Yep.
And sometimes you can have them always on. You can have them respond to how close you are, so proximity-based, or you can just turn them off. Once again, this is a driving aid, much like the driving line, where you don't have to have it on. If you want it on, you can have it just on the braking zones. If you wanted to have it full on or just turn it completely off, that's kind of the idea here. The basics behind it, it's blue when you're clean. As soon as you get 1 or 2 tires off, you can see it starts to turn yellow. And as soon as you get 3 or more, it is red. And that is a dirty lap. So it's really simple. 0 to 2 tires, you're clean. More than 2 tires, so 3 or more, and it is a dirty lap. So they're fully defined, once again, on every ribbon. And basically means that everyone, to be competitive, is going to have to really relearn all of these tracks. So it's a massive game changer for all the ribbons.
It is, because these two things work completely in tandem. We have redefined track limits, and one of the best ways to learn them is turn these lines on and understand what is now clean and dirty.
Yes. So what this does for us across a lot of the different tracks, I mean, there's always complaints around track cutting and kind of gaming the system where we really didn't tell you explicitly where you were clean or dirty, and people can kind of suss it out and figure out, oh, I can cut here and still be clean. Now it is fully exposed and much more fair, and it basically does away, if you were driving clean, does away with all track cutting. And in the future, we'll be looking at doing things like removing tire walls or other obstacles that we've currently had there because we basically said, hey, look, with all this track cutting, we want to make sure that it's fairly clean, and we knew it was kind of a stopgap system. We're going to be now allowing, once you have these on, once you have the clean or dirty, this whole system turned on, all this other stuff can go away once we kind of turn penalties on for all of them. But for this first update, what this does is to just purely turn on clean and dirty racing or dirty laps based on your tires on or off.
And just to sort of underline that, this is not Forza race regulations still to come. This is really just illuminating what is now clean and dirty.
That's right. This is the first step that we've had at putting our full Forza race regulation system into the game. This is purely clean, dirty.
Right.
There are no penalties associated with this right now other than clean or dirty. And I will go on to some of the benefits in just a second in our next segment here. But yeah, there aren't any pure penalties. You're not going to get disqualified for a dirty lap. You're not going to get kicked from the race for a dirty lap. Right now, it is just purely clean and dirty.
And just so you guys know, I think Aaron showed it in the HUD when he was showing the different options. This is something you can turn on or off as you wish. So it's not like we've implemented illuminated lines and they're permanently on. This is a HUD option. So turn it on. Figure out the tracks. Eventually, if you want, you can turn them off as well. One other thing I think is interesting, that two-wheel rule, that is for racing, that is for drifting. If you're going around a corner, you have the back two wheels off, you're still good.
Yeah.
Which I love. So there's a look at the illuminated lines now, and the track limits is really just a fundamental sort of change for Forza Motorsport 7. And one of the things that comes along with that is the fact that we can now introduce time attack mode.
What's that? What's that?
I have no idea.
Okay. Here it is. Time attack is coming on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Our open class-based rivals are landing every track, every weather condition. So sunny or dry, wet.
That's right.
Even at night. So you can see Aaron's looking at them right now. Here you go.
So you find them in Rivals. You go to Rivals. You scroll down and you'll find all the classes. And then, Chris, we have hundreds of ribbons.
Literally hundreds of ribbons here to set your best time, all class-based, all open, all tunable. And so one of the important things here is with this update, we are wiping the leaderboards effectively, right? Because of all these new track limits, all the previous times are actually not valid anymore.
Right.
So all of those times that were set previously prior to the new track limits going live, those times will be archived, and they're no longer valid with our new system. So what you'll see is this Wednesday, complete wipe of all the leaderboards, and all of these new time attack leaderboards, of course, will be fresh. Set your best times. Here's an amazing thing as well. We've had this problem in previous FMs where the leaderboards were a little bit complicated, if you will. They weren't clean. They were muddled by some times being set in campaign or in multiplayer or in free play, where people can kind of game the system a bit, use things like drafting or some other things to kind of game the system and juice their score a little bit. So here, the time attack system, they are only for the time attack rivals. You will only have your time set there. It won't pull in from campaign or multiplayer or free play. It is its own thing.
Right.
What that means is that the times that are in there are pure. They're as pure as can be. They are purely set within a level playing field within that time attack.
Yep.
So it's a big deal. it keeps all of this super competitive and super honest.
And it goes without saying that the new track limits are absolutely in effect in these time attack events.
100%. So they kind of went hand in hand for us. We needed to have the new track limits before we really went live with time attack. And we weren't going to go live with time attack until we had the track limits. So we were kind of trying to make sure that both of those systems were ready to go. And you know, we've had these systems kind of lying around in one state or the other. They finally landed. So this is going to go live Wednesday. Finally. It's pretty awesome.
So, hey, Aaron, I was hoping we could take a look at a couple of the new features. I'm thinking specifically of Training Ghost. So if we could check out a new Rivals event.
Yeah, here, let's back out a bit. Yeah. Here. Yeah,
Go ahead.
show you something.
Meanwhile, while they're setting that up, I want to sort of give you guys a recap of what we've seen so far. You're watching Forza Monthly. This is our monthly show about all things Forza. At the top of the show, we showed off the Forza Horizon 4 Formula Drift car pack. Now, those cars are coming both to Forza Horizon 4 and to Forza Motorsport 7. We got to look at that. We went through a bunch of cars. We did some drifting. Gabe and I did some drifting as well, which, you know, that was okay. We can forget that ever happened. But it was fun. And then we showed off. So we've been talking about Forza Motorsport 7 and all the cool stuff coming to Forza Motorsport 7 this Wednesday with the August update. We talked about time attack. We've talked about all the new drifting upgrades, and right now we're looking at time attack, and we have a new feature, Chris, that I know our Forza RC drivers have been looking for.
Okay, so track limits.
Yep.
Time attack. We're not done with this feature yet, guys. So this, like you said, Brian said, our FRC drivers have really been asking for a function to set a specific person as their rival. And consistently play against that person over and over and over and over again. Consistently go and see if they can beat them in this one corner, see if they can accelerate in this one corner. And now what you can do is, let's see, go back to the screen here. When you're selecting the time attack here, you can press the Y button to go to your leaderboards.
Okay.
Now keep in mind, guys, we were on a test account here, so there's only three times.
Right.
But in any case, any of these players here with their times can be set as a rival. So you go here and you can select one, and you can set as Training Ghost now, or set as rival. Either way, right? So if you set as a Training Ghost, their ghost will appear every single time you go around the track.
Even if you beat them.
Even if you beat them. That's actually the most important part.
Right.
So over and over and over again, you can work on beating this rival specifically. So for those who want to beat Box or Lage or the artist formerly known as Hard BR, you guys can go and set them as your rival, as your Training Ghost, and just lap after lap after lap. Set your times and really set your competition.
So that's great because, as you were saying, it's a great training tool to get faster. Maybe you're faster in certain sections.
That's right.
And maybe you can't figure out a certain corner that the way this opponent takes. Now you can figure that out and practice it lap after lap after lap.
This is once again, with all of these things, these are, with track limits, all of these things are training tools. They are driving aids to help you get faster and more competitive. This is one of the most explicit ways to actually compete head-to-head and really understand, hey, where are they outbraking me, where are they accelerating me, and really learn the track the way that they know the track.
So Aaron can smoke this guy, and then on the next lap through, we'll see the same ghost. That's what's really useful about training ghosts. One other thing, Chris, that we didn't actually talk about when we were looking at time attack is we have daytime versions of the tracks. We have nighttime version, but we also have weather.
That's right.
And tell us about weather with time attack.
One of the things we wanted to make sure was consistent when we did time attack was if we had weather, and we wanted weather.
Yep.
Our current system randomizes the weather as you're driving through it. So if you would set it to, say, rain, you wouldn't really know if it's going to rain on lap 1 or lap 2
or the severity of the rain.
Severity of the rain.
Yep.
So just to be consistent, every time you select rain or night or day, it's a specific setting. It doesn't change.
Okay.
And everyone will have the exact same setting, no matter if they're on lap 1 or 100.
Which is crucial to that time attack, hot lapping.
Absolutely. It keeps things competitive. It keeps them consistent, and you're on a level and same playing field, no matter what weather it is.
Fantastic. Well, here's a look at now remember there in Bernie's Alps, you can go way wide. People go really wide on that corner, And now you can see how much the track limits have been moved in. So people are going to not be able to go as wide as they used to be able to on that corner, and if they want to keep a clean lap. So it's interesting. You can see these laps often tied to the yellow line on either side. There you wouldn't have to worry about it, but coming out on some of these turns, you really going to have to be cognizant of where those limits are if you want to maintain that clean lap.
Yeah, I think this is, once again, this is one of the most important things about the new track limits is that everyone is going to have to basically relearn their tracks, every single one, to really eke out the best time. If you want to be super competitive and clean.
Right.
Then yes, you're going to have to go and really study where all the new track limits are to be clean and competitive.
There you go. There's the training ghost starting from the standing start.
You've already dusted the ghost.
You got him, Aaron. Well done. Anyway, there's your look at the training ghost feature, which is also new, coming to Forza Motorsport 7 in August. We still have other good stuff. We're not done yet. Gabe Garcia, we're giving people a car this month.
Heck yeah.
Now, you might remember we have this concept of spotlight cars in Forza Motorsport 7. We've had it for a couple of months now. You remember last month we did 2 awesome Porsche cars that were part of that. This month, we've got another Group C racer that I think people are going to really like. Aaron's going to bring up the car, and Gabe, we're going to give you a chance to talk about this awesome Aston Martin.
Sure. Good deal.
So, free car. Guys, there's nothing wrong with a free car. When you get the update for Forza Motorsport 7, this Aston Martin AMR1 will be delivered to you. Let's check this thing out, because this thing, not only does it perform really well, it's totally 80s looking. I love the whole look of this entire car. It's awesome. Gabe, take us through this car.
All right. So we have, this car was built during the time of Group C, which was an FIA-regulated class. It is, the classes change name all the time.
Yeah.
This was basically an unlimited prototype class, closed top, and it was, do whatever it takes. And this is, like we said, an 89. Key features about this thing, look at that silhouette. Woo! Oh, pretty, baby. This is pure form following function, because the rules were, hey, man, do what it takes to make the car fast. There's nothing really cute going on here. This is just made to go fast. And, you look at the silhouette of this car, the profile looks like it's kind of leaning forward a bit, and that whole stance has a purpose.
Look at that.
Because even the drivetrain itself is angled, leaning forward.
Yeah,
so it's all about just form following function. What we have under here is, the naturally aspirated, it's like a 6.3 liter V8, Callaway sourced. This engine, as you can see, in all the fine detail that we've come to expect from a Forza Vista experience. Naturally aspirated, 680 horsepower, almost making 700 horsepower. This one is the most successful car of the run that ran in Group C.
I think we should take this thing on the track.
All right,
let's take
do
it on the track. Let's get this thing. Let's get this thing going in a straight line, really fast. Here, I want to drive. I want to drive.
You drive. You drive.
I want to drive. I'm gonna take the host privilege here and drive. What would be a good track to take this on, in your opinion, Gabe? Le Mans, maybe old Le Mans. We can see how fast it can go. We won't do a whole lap of Le Mans, but I do want to at least show this thing in action. These spotlight cars, Chris, I love this program because it's free cars for people. That's a good thing. But I love the fact that everything around the car we're doing.
Yeah.
There's so much you can do with this car.
So there's a lot here. One of the biggest things that we're trying to do as a studio is, with motorsport, build a deeper connection between you and your car. And we've moved a little bit away from that over the years. And we've kind of done lots and lots of content. And one of the things that we're really trying to double down on now is a deeper connection between you and that car. And one of those things is the Spotlight car. We can build custom events and experiences around those free cars and build that deeper connection through new experiences in the game. So yeah, every time we're releasing a Spotlight car, there's going to be a whole host of new events, both from rivals events to hoppers, supported sometimes in leagues, and certainly in Forzathons that really kind of bring this thing to life. And we're finding people are loving it, and of course, well, who doesn't love free?
Oh yeah, free's good.
And free experiences. is the biggest thing. So I think one of our mantras going forward for everything that we do, there's a related, it's not just a thing. It is not just a singular update or a little tweak here and there. It's kind of wrapped in a larger experience.
Right.
And so you can see with the drift update, it wasn't just steering angle update. There's a whole lot of other experiences that are being delivered around it. It is not just truck limits. It's the fact that it's bundled with time attack, and that makes sense along with all the new leaderboard changes. So we're trying to make sure that it all systemically and experientially makes a lot of sense. And just keep investing in this game to be deeper and a much more robust racing experience.
206 on the back straight, Gabe.
That's not bad.
This thing's
that
sick.
is good, man.
And you know what gets me about this thing? Like, you think about a modern LMP1 car that you could barely see out of. This feels like a Jetsons car with how much like glass you've got and how much you can see around you. You know?
Yeah, lots of visibility.
Lots of visibility for a car this fast.
Yeah,
that thing's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Well,
Yeah.
just as a reminder, sorry, Chris, just as a reminder, the
Going around.
Oh, that's got that drift angle update.
Yeah.
It must be it. It's not me. It's the drift angle update I put on the AMR1. Just as a quick reminder, this car and the rest of all the goodies coming in August will be available on Wednesday. I know our typical updates come out on Tuesday. In this case, we're doing it a day later because we want the Forza RC Rivals events to close shop before we reset the leaderboards, put in the track limits, and get all that done.
that would be
So
bad.
That would be bad for those guys. So, yeah, you'll have to wait an extra day, but I hope the wait will be worth it because we've got so much great stuff here.
So blame it on FRC.
That's right.
Just kidding.
Can I hand the controller off to someone else while we wrap up here? Aaron, maybe I can hand it over to you. So, Chris, we've talked about track limits, we talked about drift upgrades, we've talked about all this cool stuff, the Spotlight car coming to Forza Motorsport 7. That's not everything.
Yeah, I really did mean this is one of the biggest updates we've ever done. And I don't even know if you have time to go through all the details. I saw this draft of all of the updates that are going in there, all the bug fixes, all the new features, and it just goes on and on. But there are some highlights that I do want to make sure that we hit. You know, we had a big update announcement. We had a letter from Alan Hartman, the head of the studio, talking about where we're going as specifically around monetization, around loot boxes, that sort of thing. And the net of that was that prize crates are being removed from Forza Motorsport 7. And also, on top of that, we're not turning on tokens. Right. So we're not going to be trying to nickel and dime here and there.
In
this
7
way.
or in Forza Horizon 4.
That's correct. Yeah. And you know, we tried this experiment, and it just not right for the product. You know, we knew our players weren't happy for it with it, and you know, there are people who enjoy the system, but by and large, it's just not right for the product, and certainly not right for most of our consumers. So we hear you guys loud and clear, and the prize crates are coming out by the end of the year. It'll be replaced by an entirely new system, a new shop where you can directly purchase or acquire. And I do mean directly. There's no blind opening of things.
Right.
It's, oh, I see that driver suit, I want it, I'm going to buy it.
And it's in-game credits.
That's all in-game credit.
Yeah.
No tokens, no other we're not trying to nickel and dime you.
Right.
So it is all in-game credits. All of the mods will be purchasable. All of the driver suits will be purchasable. Driver badges as well. So there's a whole lot of stuff that's going into this update that supports the removal of prize crates. So we had talked about this a little bit last time on the stream. We unlocked over 100 cars from progression and other engagement events. That was actually our first step at removing prize crates, right? It was directly from feedback around how people are just wanting to access cars and directly acquire items in the game. That was the first thing.
I want to address this real quick.
Okay,
I
what's
see
that?
it. Someone says, I think mods are getting removed. Mods are not getting removed from
That's
the
right.
game.
That's right.
Loot crates, prize crates are being removed from Forza Motorsport 7. You will still be able to purchase mods
That's
with credits.
Yeah, we're looking at the mod system wholly at this point, and how we actually go about delivering that out now that it is not part of the prize crate system. one of the interesting things is because a lot of people weren't actually wanting to be part of the prize crate system, they weren't at all using the mods. Now, whether or not they wanted to is a separate thing, but now you can directly acquire them.
Right.
So we're not right now in FM7. Mods are a thing that'll be here, and it is a deeply entrenched system in the game. But we're definitely looking at ways of just making it much more enjoyable.
Sure.
Yeah.
A couple other items of note. We talk about saving and loading race setups.
Yes.
That seems like a small thing, but I think it's going to be really useful.
So yeah. So one of the things that I think, if you've played the game at all and you want to set up a little lobby for your buddies, every time you go back into any of the options, they all kind of go back to a default.
Yep.
So now what we've done is we've allowed you just to save off all of those settings.
Yep.
We've got like 100 saved. I can't remember the exact number, but you basically can go up and load any of these pre-saved files. Like if you have an event that you want to run, and it's always at spa, and it's always 20 laps, and it's always with pitting and simulation damage, etc. That is just, you can just save that off as a preset. And then just load that up right when you want to do that again, do that event again. And the other cool thing about this is that if you set up that lobby and I joined it and I'm like, oh, that's a really freaking cool setup, I can save that off myself.
Yep.
So there's this other effect where you can easily start saving off your favorite setups, no matter where it is, who set it up, and where you are. So I think that's a pretty cool system. It just makes it a lot more fluid and dynamic.
People who run series and those kinds of things, they're going to eat that up.
Oh yeah, it certainly helps. It certainly helps our own efforts around FRC, so we don't have to go and manually set them up every single time.
Yeah.
But certainly for everyone at home, it helps just running your favorite events over and over again.
Now people know how much I love multi-class racing. I do it all the time in Forza Friday. ABC is one of my favorite
One of my
lobbies
favorites too.
But we know that we've had a problem with
There's
ABC.
a little problem
that we're fixing this month, Chris.
Yeah. So everyone knows if you've been in the ABC's hopper, if you're whatever class you get stuck into, and next you're just stuck there, right? So now we actually cycle through them. So you will never be stuck in a specific class. It'll randomly put you in a different one every time a race goes.
That makes my heart flutter with
anticipation. It'll make everything just that much more fun. It makes it the hopper that it's supposed to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. ABC's is so fun. Hope you guys enjoy that. Listen, we have seen a whole bunch of stuff today, and you're not lying, Chris, when you say that this is one of the biggest and most important updates we've ever done.
I have like 5 or 6 other things that are on top of my head that we could go into. One of the other things is hopper changes.
Yes.
There's actually a number of hopper changes. We've been seriously taking a look at things like our quote-unquote welcome to multiplayer hoppers, all of our other hoppers. And you'll be seeing a number of things that are go live in this update, or at least Thursday when we actually do our normal hopper refresh. So there'll be some new hoppers. There'll also be some of these intro to systems, right? So we have
drifting.
Intro to drifting, intro to drag racing, intro to just general hot lapping and that sort of thing, and it's a very different experience when you have a welcome to multiplayer type of hopper that is really more about helping you understand the basics of just getting around the track and having a more fun time with each other. Currently, our welcome to multiplayer hoppers, when we launched, it was like on really crazy tracks with the fastest cars in our game, and with collisions on, and are bad.
Yep.
And now you'll see them with more manageable tracks, slower cars, ghosted, that sort of thing. I think that'll help out the ecosystem of all of our hoppers. So
cool.
Lots of stuff coming there.
Lots of stuff coming, and all of that arrives beginning this Wednesday with the August update. It comes this Wednesday. Chris mentioned the hopper changes coming later on in the week, but still so much to come in Forza Motorsport 7, and we continue to work on the game. We'll be back here for another episode, of course, talking about all the latest stuff in a month. But Today, we had a great show. We enjoyed checking out the car. Thank you to our friends at Formula Drift for bringing this car by. We had a great time looking at the Formula Drift car pack for Forza Horizon 4. If you missed any of this, if you got to the show late, check out the VOD, the video of the day, on our YouTube channel. You can watch the entire thing, get caught up with everything that's happening with the August update and everything else. We're going to leave you today with a look at what's happening in the Forza Racing Championship. But before we check out the video, I want to say thank you to all our guests, Aaron, Chris, Gabe, John Knowles. Thank you so much for being here. And of course, thank you to all of you for being here for the show. We'll be back in September for another episode of Forza Monthly. In the meantime, let's get caught up with everything else that's happening in the Forza Racing Championship.
And here we go. Mitch doing a great job to navigate his way around that and finding a way past Fast Tech. So up to 9th position. And there is Box running in second. Not going to be enough, so Chemical is going to take it. And we are lights out on Cataluna. Now Mitch diving to the inside. He's got the pace. Can he make it stick? But we got a little bit of an incident here. That's Racers who got turned all the way around. Roadrunner trying to throw it in on the inside. Little lockup. And Box is the main man up front. Lights out here on race number 3. Very, very fast, straight speed as Racers off. Commando get hit in the back. Maybe an 8 and a Chemical almost gets sideways, and then he does. Box unable to find his way through this field. Wow, Roadrunner gets hit from behind. He's well off on the side. And Commando looks like he's going to make this stick. We head down to turn 1 here on Road Atlanta. You can see Force 1 and Lightning. Neck and neck down the straight. We have a little bit of bumping and grinding toward the back. Venom here, looking like he's struggling to make inroads into Lightning's gap up ahead. Lightning just has been absolutely unstoppable here. Race number 2.
We're looking at from AMS Steryl's point of view. Bumps into Diablo a little bit. Diablo gets into Billy Sue there, and then as we're coming around the left-hander into turn 2, keep your eye on Billy Sue there. Ooh. He spins around, hits that curb, hits the gas, spins himself around, and takes out Harmonica as well. That's the run. Let's see Force 1 here, fishing around now, looking for a gap. McQueen's chosen. He's moved wide, letting Force 1 at the inside line. He's going to throw it in there. It is going to be another Lightning win. Venom, very strong race out of him. And they are raring down to turn number 1, and Rev's already in the spin cycle. Sterile, get out of the way. You're off on the side too. That's a massive crash now on the way out of turn 2. And then we got Rev's off to the side. Billy Sue crossing the line. I couldn't be happier for him. Lights are out on VIR. You can see Roadrunner off on the side a little bit, but able to recover. We're halfway through 4 of 8. Off on the side is Falache Virus. There is one driver in the world who can withstand this much pressure from Lage, and that is Noble Box. The podium's going to be Box, Lage, and Mitch. Can you imagine Box of a year ago holding off that much pressure from Lage?
No, it would have been like me in there, just folding under like a cheap card table.
And we are ready to rock and roll. Box out in front. Lage hot on his bumper. The infield's very thin and crunchy. Lage looking for the lead here. Mitch was able to come by Box as well. So Box goes from 1st to 3rd. I'm going to go ahead and call it right here. It's going to be Lage 1, Box 2. And for Williams, Mitch, he's going to be in 3rd. And the lights are out here at Le Mans. We're on the Bugatti circuit, going 3 wide. And that looked like that was massive crash. There's at least 3. Roadrunner and Rossi there. Great job Zermatt's done here. We just had a little look at him as Box gets into the rear of Mitch, pushing him around. It is Lage, Zermatt, Virus, Box, 1, 2, 3, 4. After missing week 1, he's come back here in round 2 here of Series 2, and he's proven to be really tough. We are lights out here in Virginia, and that ever important South Bend turn 10. Ooh, that is a tire wall and then a push in the back. Final lap, Billy Sue out in front as they head through the roller coaster. Billy Sue, Lightning in 2nd, and Venom will finish 3rd. we go. And we already got some bumping. This is race 2 of 3. And this is the most interesting corner. You see Billy Sue well wide.
Venom manages to take third place, Revs in fourth.
We are green on Road Atlanta. You just feel like you're going so fast. Ooh. Wow. Couple cars off on the side. There's Dr. Bex. He's off as well. Vanquish is there. Diablo second. Force One third.
Here we go. Only one penalty here, guys, and it's going to go to Vanquish. The rest of the field not penalized.